Okay, let's do positivity now. The show needs a little positivity. Underrated. Let's go to the ACC. Who's the most underrated team?
Syracuse is the most underrated team to me because I think that it's a team or a school that kind of just needed a fresh start. I think that unfortunately, for as great as he was, Boeheim just overstayed his welcome. Not overstayed his welcome, but it's time. Eventually, programs need a little bit of a change, and I think the change will actually do them well. I'm not saying they're going to be extremely good this year, but I think that this year could be used as a stepping stone to build some serious momentum into getting Syracuse back to the program they used to be. And the backcourt alone makes me love this team. Like Judah Mintz and JJ Starling, talent wise, are really, really good. And I think that'll make them better than they were.
Is JJ Starling good?
Yes.
We're 100% confident in that.
I'm 100% confident that JJ Starling is good.
Okay, I needed to hear that because my answer is also Syracuse. I just am still like I'm only 95% JJ Starling's good. And if he's not good, then we're wrong about this. But I still think he's good. And I think Judah Mintz might be the most underrated player in the country. I know we're doing teams right now, but like Mintz is capable of like first team All-American stuff. I think that's in the cards for him. We'll see what happens. Also, they might play man-to-man this year. I don't know if you heard that.
I did hear that.
That's exciting. That's fun. Let's move to the Big Ten. A lot of options here since nobody else is ranked other than Michigan State and Purdue. Who do you got here?
I got my Buckeyes. I think Ohio State's underrated for the reasons we stated many times on past podcasts. I think they got Thornton back. They got a power back, Jamison Battle. Love the freshman class. They had a really down year last year. This is a top 25 talent level team. So I think they are underrated.
Okay. Yeah, Maryland is my pick.
Also a good pick.
I wanted to pick Ohio State, but I think it's Maryland. I think I just think it's a lock. Maryland ends up the season top 25, to be honest with you.
I do too.
Yeah, has to happen. They're super talented. And if you try to make a list of the top 25 players in the Big Ten, you're going to have 5 Maryland names on it and then be like, wait a second, why is nobody talking about Maryland? They're really, really good. And you compare that to Purdue. I know I've thrown a lot of Purdue love out there, Cart. There's only 2 Purdue names on the top 25 players in the Big Ten. There's 5 from Maryland, and nobody's really talking about Maryland. Big 12.
Let me go look at this. Jerome Tang in the game. Kansas State. They're underrated. Speaking of yesterday's episode where we talked about really good transfer classes, that applies to this Kansas State team. I was surprised. Well, I guess, I don't know. I guess it's Dickie V's preseason top 25. I think they're a preseason top 25 team, even though the pieces that they lost. I like the guys they're bringing in. Tyler Perry could be an All-American level type player, I think. So I'm in on this team and their additions.
I am right there with you. We're agreeing too much for my liking, but I feel like it's a good thing when we agree because we're usually right when we both agree with each other. And don't sleep on the Quez Glover ad too. It's another lottery ticket for Jerome Tang to figure out. And I really trust Jerome Tang right now. Big East. Not many options here because so many teams in the Big East are ranked in Dickie V's top 25.
Yeah, my underrated team is Providence for this pick. Bryce Hopkins could easily be Big East Player of the Year, and that alone I think could put them into this kind of mold. And then I'm gonna butcher this name, but I think it's Duyal, freshman. It's a guy who has a lot of NBA buzz and has been getting a lot of rave reviews as well. I saw some of his high school film. He just is a high energy guy who has the tools to be an NBA player. Like he's one of those guys who is an under the radar kind of pickup, and then you see him just have a really good freshman year, and like he finds his way into like a first round type pick, maybe even a lottery pick type pick, just by having the production, the skill set, and the frame that he has. And I also am in on Kim English as a coach as well. So I'm picking Providence. I know I'm one of the few, but I'm in on Kim English.
Interesting. Yeah, I won't press you for too many details there, but I don't agree there. I want to see it a little bit. I'm going Georgetown, and this is the one I feel the worst about of every team on my list. I just think expectations are so low for this Georgetown team in year 1 of Ed Cooley. And Ed Cooley's kind of great when you give him no expectations. Like Ed Cooley just always figures something out, and I trust him to make this team competitive and fun, even if they're not good. And they have decent recruits coming in. Like they got Drew McKenna, top 100 kid. Drew Fielder's a 4-star. Jaden Epps is gonna be productive at the very least. Like I don't know if that means good team, but I think he can score like 12 a game minimum and kind of be the engine for an offense. So and Jeff Goodman's favorite, Rowan Brumbaugh, is also a Hoya. I'm buying Georgetown. I think they'll be competitive and pick off some of the better teams in the Big
I
East.
like that pick, Gregory.
Thank you. Thanks, Cart. To the SEC. Who's your most underrated team in the SEC?
My most underrated team in the SEC is the new coach, redacted coach, and that's Ole Miss. And the reason it's Ole Miss is because Matt Murrell, sorry, my apologies. Love his game. I think he's going to have a breakout year in the SEC. I think he's an NBA level talent type player. And I just think that despite all the shortcomings of redacted off the floor and the choices he makes off the floor, when it actually comes to coaching the game of basketball, he's really, really good. So I think that is going to be enough to get Ole Miss to they'll be better than what people expect. I'm not saying they're like top 25 or anything like that, but I think they'll be better than people expect.
It's a good pick. You said a lot of accurate things about redacted there. I'm going to go to a different coach that I trust. I trust him more off the court for sure. I trust Bruce Pearl, and Auburn is my pick. I friend of the sleepers, Wendell Green, is no longer on this team. And I'm very curious what that does to the rest of the guys on this team because Wendell was awesome. Sometimes he was like driving them off a cliff other times. And now Aiden Holloway is in. And he's so good. He's super fun, so man. Good. He's super fun. I'm excited to watch this team for a lot of reasons, but a little surprised they're not on the top 25.
And they got Broome back too, right?
Yeah, they got Broome back.
Yeah.
Katie Johnson, Nightmare Fuel, is still back. Jalen Williams is back. Like they really bring everybody that matters back, except for Wendell Green and Alan Flanagan and Ad Holloway and Denver Jones, who scored 20 a game last year. Like there's stuff.
I like that pick too, Gregory.
My God, we just love each other today. This is fantastic. Let's move to the Pac-12. Cart, who you got?
I struggle with this one. This is hard for me. And the reason I'm picking it. Huh?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's an easy answer here, I think.
Oh, I might be missing somebody then.
Yeah, I think you're missing somebody. We'll see though. Who's your pick?
Wait, can I switch it to you? Who'd you pick?
The pick is UCLA.
Oh wow, I blew it.
Yeah, the UCLA is not in Dickie V's.
Wait, why is UCLA not in the top 25?
I don't know. He must just be skeptical of all the overseas guys. But like, listen, man, if you like Kentucky this year, you should like UCLA this year because they have a lot of guys that are new to college basketball that are super talented coming in. And I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't trust them to like win anything crazy, but like Ade Mara and Jan Vide are really damn good.
Yeah, I'm glad I asked you first because I just completely I guess I just assumed that UCLA was in this. That's my apologies. UCLA is my most underrated easily. I think that the overseas guys have talent. Mick Cronin is a really good coach. I expect also guys to take some steps too. Like I like Dylan Andrews a lot, and I think that he'll take a step this year. I think there's something with him as a player. But I guess I will read who I did have just as like an underrated shout. This kind of goes along the Big East notion that you had. Cal was one of the worst teams in the country, like by far, like no bar none. I think they won like 5 games, something like that. They bring in Madsen. They bring in some recruits. They got guys like Fardaws. I just think that naturally the only place to go is up, and they were able to bring in some dudes. So I think they'll be a lot better than they were. So I did give them a shout, but obvious answer is UCLA, I think.
Yeah, it just is what it is. Like they're the highest upside. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked Dickie V didn't have them there other than he just like doesn't know who Ade Mara and Jan Vide are. Yeah. To the other conferences, outside of all the main conferences, who's the most underrated team in the country to you, Cart?
Yeah, I didn't put anybody. I literally didn't put anybody.
What is this a college basketball's cooked statement?
I just really couldn't think of like I could have came on here and honestly faked who my underrated team was, but I was literally just going through the conferences. I don't know who it is. Like, do you want me to pick Pepperdine? Like, I don't know. They're not underrated. They're where they should be.
No, I want you to pick a team you and I love, man. Because there is an answer. There is a most underrated team in the country.
What have I done?
It's the Lobos, man. New Mexico.
Oh no!
They're back. We're running it back. Jamal Mashburn and Jalen House are back.
I forgot about my
We
Lobos.
get to watch them. We get to bet on them. It's going to be
Oh, I
fantastic.
can't wait. And they got my guy AK from Colorado State on the staff now. Like,
This team was the last undefeated team in the country last season. And I think, did they drop the ball in conference play? Yeah. Yeah, a little bit they did. Okay. But we're running it back this year, Lobos. Like, I'm in. I think now we're going to do the thing where we have to pick who is the most underrated of all our underrated teams. I think it might be New Mexico. I think that team could be top 20 in the country this year, Cart. But it's not who I'm going to pick. My most underrated team actually in the country is Syracuse.
yeah, I might go UCLA. That's
Okay.
most underrated. Yeah, I think they're gonna be really good.
Maryland's a good one too. All these teams are really underrated.
I like the underrated teams more than I like the overrated teams in this exercise.
Me too. Should we any final words for Dickie V? What do you think about Dickie V's list here? It seems like he dropped the ball on a lot of these underrated teams.
Yeah, I got just a couple issues talking about the St. John's love needs to relax. Okay, it really does. Patino is not God. I know some people think he is, but he's not. Okay, let's just let that be known. Last thing I want to say. And I think Florida Atlantic could be higher than 11.
Mm.
That team's really good.
Yeah, they're good.
Really good. Bringing back everyone from last year, Dusty May. They're good. Like, that's not a fluke. That team won 30 games last year, and for a reason.
Dusty May just sounds like a Hall of Fame coach too.
It
Like
does.
I'm telling my grandchildren about Dusty May years from now.
Yeah.
We'll
I
see.
mean, the main thing I want to say is Dickie V, just take it easy this year, my boy. I get the hard working, I get the blue collar, but stay healthy, and get right, man.
Get well, Dick. We're thinking of you.